So today we are sitting here with Emalee from Richmond Homes, and we are out in the Wander community in Saratoga Springs.
Yes.
All right. Now, this is kind of a new community for Richmond Homes in this particular area. Is that right?
Yeah, it's relatively new. It's been here about a year, but we've got some completed homes. We still have quite a few lots that are in construction.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a newer community for sure.
Okay. So how many homes, estimate, would you say are completely built in this development and still could be built?
I believe there's 4 homes that are completed and moved into.
Okay.
And then we have 3 homes that are going to be either are available or will be available soon that are completed.
Okay.
And then we've got a variety of lots that have either a floor plan already put on the lot or have the option for a buyer to pick the floor plan.
Okay. So I guess the question that I get asked all the time, and I think people are thinking back to pandemic times, you're just lucky to even get on a list, to maybe get a home, hopefully,
Yeah.
So is that the situation now? Or if someone wants to say build something or maybe move into something in the next 6 to 12 months, are there options available?
Yeah, there's options available for both of those things. We don't really, at Richmond, we don't really have waiting lists very often. Sometimes we will in a new community where there's a lot of interest, but that hasn't been the case in my experience much recently. And it's more of having a variety of options for people to choose from.
Okay, cool. So what is, I don't know, what's new and exciting with Richmond Homes? What should people know right now about Richmond Homes?
I think that's a great question. So we do have 2 new communities in the area in Saratoga Springs they're starting up that should be available, within the next month or 2.
And is this one of them?
No, actually, there's 2. There's one it's kind of in the same latitude. So you're just going to head south.
And
then there's
toward the lake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And then there is another community that's going to be by the temple.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Which will be really exciting opportunity.
All right. So if somebody, they like the Richmond America Homes, they like the floor plans, but maybe this community isn't perfect for them, there's several others to look at.
Yes, definitely. I would recommend, coming and seeing our product and seeing, the model homes and what kind of style of home we build and, the construction of the home. It's beautiful. And when people come in and see what we can do, a lot of times it's exciting to then be able to look at the floor plans and kind of have an idea of what the home could look like. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So I guess the next question is it just Saratoga Springs or are there other Richmond America developments in Utah County?
Yeah, there's a lot of other Richmond communities. We've got one in Pleasant Grove, which is where I'm located. We've got some down in Salem and Payson areas. We've got some in Eagle Mountain as well. And so people in Utah County have a variety.
Yeah, so throughout the county, you've got some options.
Exactly, and we do have some in Harriman as well. We've got a couple communities in Harriman, and then Tooele County as well, Grantsville, Tooele, Lake Point, and then we do have a new community also coming up in northern Utah as well.
Oh, okay, way up there.
Yes.
Where the sun hardly ever comes up and it just snows all the time.
Exactly.
It feels that way right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Well, another question that I get asked a lot when we're talking about new construction is working with the preferred lender.
Yes.
Now, with Richmond America, is it mandatory? Is it optional? And along that line, there's always incentives involved.
Right.
So maybe we could talk about that.
Yeah, I think that's great. So we don't require anybody to use our lender, but we highly recommend it just because of the incentives that are offered for people that use our lender, as well as streamlining the process. Having our lender, there's a lot of communication between our closing staff and we kind of know where the loan is at, and it streamlines the process for everybody, which is why it's in our benefit to offer the incentives.
Well, and it is, and I do know from experience, sometimes working with a lender that nobody's familiar with, regardless of the home situation, communication is so key. There are things that come up last minute, underwriter, all kinds of things, and to have good communication and a good relationship goes a long way. Definitely. Ultimately, just to get the buyer into the home on time.
For sure. And another thing is if there are any hiccups that we come across, which happens almost,
always,
regularly, right? With almost every deal. But with our lender, if something's not able to close on time, it's more likely for us to be able to work with our lender than another lender.
Makes sense.
There's not as many, situations.
Absolutely. Makes sense. And I've been in a situation with a Richmond American home where there were some issues with the lender, just some documents that needed. and that closing had to be pushed off a day or two. And because it was their preferred lender, they were very accommodating and willing to make those adjustments to the contract.
Exactly. Because we realize that it's something that, we need to do, and we know what's been happening because there's been that communication continually.
Now, what about incentives? Is there, other than good communication and those types of things, is there any upgrades or financial incentives or anything like that?
Yeah. So because we're a nationwide company, we do, we are able to offer different loan options for people and, special rates at certain times. And so, that's another incentive. But when it comes to kind of what we offer, in order to get the incentive with us, you do have to use our preferred lender, which is Home American.
Oh, no, that makes total sense.
Home American Mortgage, and then also the homeowner's insurance as well in the beginning. And it's kind of those two will get you the incentive.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, so another question that a lot of people are asking is, do they have to just get a spec home where all the decisions and all the designs have been made, or can they, make some choices?
I think that's a great question. So realistically, with what we're trying to offer is personalization. So, if somebody is wanting a home quicker, we want to be able to provide that option. So we do have some homes that are completed, and if they like what's been chosen, they can get into the home quicker.
Okay.
But with that being said, we want to be able to provide options. So, we have a really beautiful home gallery. Our division office actually just moved to Sandy, Utah, in a new location, and they're working on getting our new home gallery up and running. It's going to be gorgeous. So we have really skilled designers that the buyers can come in after picking their floor plan and go and pick all the interior finishes down to like the tile grout.
Oh, good. Good.
So they can really personalize the home and make it their own. We're not exactly a custom builder, but we want to provide a lot of options for people to get their dream home.
Well, that's good. I know a lot of people, they maybe sometimes too many options is not a good thing.
For sure.
But it is nice that someone can say, look, I fell in love with the lights or the flooring that I saw in a model home, and they would want to get that.
Exactly. And it's great because we do have, all the documentation, so we know exactly what that flooring is. And if for some reason that's not available, our designers are very skilled in showing you options that are very similar and talk about the pros and cons.
Nice.
And if a buyer has an idea of what they like, that's also what's great about having the designer there, is to steer them in the direction and understand their vision.
Sure. That makes sense. Okay, great. So here's the question. So tomorrow morning, somebody calls me, one of my clients, and they say, hey, I saw your video, or thanks for the information you sent me.
Yeah.
We'd like to maybe get more information, or let's go ahead. We want to get a home with Emalee, of course, at Richmond America. What is the process from that point moving forward?
That's great. So it would kind of depend on the home that they're interested in. Obviously it's going to be a little bit of a shorter process if it's a home that's already completed.
Okay.
But if it's a home that's not completed, let's say, for instance, they're wanting to build their home, we would meet with them and we would add all the options that they're interested in structurally, and then put together, the price point for them that they feel comfortable. Explain to them the process of going to our home gallery. Usually it's 2 appointments, a week apart, so they've got time to deliberate. But at the contract, they would, depending on the community, we have a different earnest money requirements according to whether it's a
Sure.
But they would bring their earnest money check to us, and we would all meet, with you and the buyers, and then we would go through our, purchase agreement, and once we had that check, we would go through the purchase agreement and all of our documents and sign everything and send it off for approval from our.
So as a point maybe of clarification, a couple of those things that you talked about. So someone comes in and they do the things you talked about, and they want to go ahead and get under contract. So you fill it all out. They're happy with the price. They give you an earnest money check.
Correct.
Are they technically not under contract until it's approved from Richmond America?
It does need to be accepted, just to make sure and verify all of the information. But when they give the earnest money check, that is, it's technically, we are liable at that point. We have to make sure to follow through on our end once we've accepted that check.
Of course.
But we just have to make sure and verify that everything is correct. And then once that is done, our authorized signer will sign everything, and that is where you're officially under contract.
And then we're off and running, designing things, breaking ground.
Exactly. We have all of the checkpoints from there on. There's we have got a checklist of 10, 11, 12, steps along the way that are important milestones along the journey.
Okay, so last question then, because I know everyone's going to want to know this one. From the date that the contract is accepted.
Yes.
Okay. Now I know there are variables as far as the size of the home and those types of things.
Right.
But what should people kind of expect from contract acceptance to moving in? Are we talking 3 months, a year and 3 months?
That's a great question. I mean, there are a lot of variables. It is kind of dependent on the community and the home because we
Okay.
have such a different home that we build in different
Sure.
communities, right? So if it's going to be a bigger home that is more elaborate, sometimes we will allot for more time frame. We give estimates to do our best according to where we're at with materials and our trades. But I mean, in this community, I talked to our superintendent earlier today, and he said he was estimating about 7 to 9 months to be
Oh, okay.
safe. But he did say that he was able to finish and complete a home a lot quicker than that. So it really just depends on
It
the
can depend,
circumstance.
but I
Yeah,
think 7 to 8, 9 months is a very reasonable amount of time to
definitely.
have a semi-custom home built with some options and things like that.
Definitely. To have somebody be able to pick out and feel
Sure.
really confident because they were able to choose the things that, a home that will bring them joy according to the floor
Absolutely.
plan and the design options and all
Okay,
that.
cool. Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm sure people will have questions, but they can put it in the comments. They'll reach out to me, those
Perfect.
types of things. But
Yes.
thank you so much. And I hope
Yes.
everyone enjoys the home tour that I'm going to video for them.
I hope so too. It's been a pleasure.
Okay,
Thank
thanks.
you.